Now more than ever, keeping up with the world means keeping up with computer technology and software. The PC Video Collection is proud to present this video tutorial.
Hello and welcome to this video tutorial, Learning Word 97 Intermediate. I'm Colin Lucina along with Julie Clemens.
Word is an advanced word processing program that will let us enhance the appearance of any document. In this video, we will cover formatting options such as page setup and setting tabs and margins. We will cover printing options and learn the various ways to print documents.
We will also demonstrate how to create headers and footers. We will learn about different views and about wizards and automatic features. Then we'll learn how to create columns and tables.
We assume that you already know the fundamentals of using Word. If not, please refer to our other video tutorials.
We also assume that you have the proper software installed on your computer.
We provided a learning disk with sample files that will be referred to throughout this tutorial and can only be used within the application. When we finish this tutorial, simply delete the VIA Graphics Learning folder from the hard drive.
If you would like to try the following exercise with us, please install the learning disk files now using the following commands.
Place the learning disk in the proper drive. Ours is A. Click on the Start button and select Run from the menu. In the command line, enter a:\vialearn.exe and choose OK. Then choose the Install button and click OK to accept the default directory. A window appears showing the installation progress, and we choose OK at the successfully copied prompt.
Our learning files have been copied and we're ready to learn about Word.
Word has many page setup options that we can use. For example, we can set our margins or number our pages. First, let's start Word. We click on the Start button. Choose Programs, then choose Microsoft Word. Let's first learn how to select a paper size and page orientation. First, maximize the window if necessary. Page sizes are available depending on a printer's capabilities. Pages can be oriented vertically, portrait, or horizontally, landscape. For this example, we'll open the Learn 1 learning file. Select the File menu and choose Open. In the Open dialog box, click on the Up 1 level button in the Look-In box. Now click on the C drive icon if necessary, and then double-click on VIA Graphics. With Learn 1 highlighted, we click the Open button. With the text on screen, let's select it by pressing Ctrl+A. Now select the File menu and choose Page Setup. Then in the Page Setup dialog box, click on the Paper Size tab. This brings up a list of options for changing the paper size. To see the different sizes, click on the down arrow in the Paper Size field. Notice the different sizes. Go ahead and choose Legal. We see a preview of the size shown on screen. To apply the size to the document, click on OK or press Enter. Then to view this document on the paper size, click on the down arrow in the Zoom command. Then choose Whole Page. The paper size can easily be changed. Select the File menu and choose Page Setup. Now click on the down arrow in the paper size box and select Executive. Then click on the OK button or press Enter. Notice the changes in the paper. Now let's examine the differences between portrait and landscape orientation. Again, select the File menu and choose Page Setup. Currently, Portrait is selected, which is a more vertical view. Go ahead and click on Landscape and notice the difference in the preview. It has a more horizontal view. Press Enter and the document is landscape oriented. However, since we usually view documents in portrait orientation, select the File menu and choose Page Setup. Then return the orientation to Portrait and the paper size to letter. Then press Enter. To change the zoom, select the down arrow in the zoom bar and choose 100%, and the document returns to its original appearance.
Now let's learn about margins, which are used to determine the distance between the text and the edge of the paper.
Margins can be adjusted using the ruler or the Page Setup command. Let's first use the ruler. If your ruler isn't on screen, select the View menu and choose Ruler. Notice that a horizontal and vertical ruler appear on the screen. When setting margins, it's a good idea to be in Page Layout view, so select the View menu, then make sure that Page Layout is selected. To change the vertical margin, move the pointer to the margin boundary on the vertical ruler. The margin boundary is the line that separates the white and gray area on the vertical ruler near the top of the document. When we move the pointer to the margin boundary, a double-headed arrow is shown on the screen. Now hold down the mouse button and drag up or down, which changes the top margin boundary. Let's perform the same task once more, but this time hold down the Alt key while dragging. Notice that the measurements are shown on the ruler. The Page Setup command also can be used to set margins. Select the File menu and choose Page Setup. Then click on the Margins tab and its information is shown on screen. Let's change the top, bottom, right and left margins to 2 inches. Then click on OK or press Enter. To see the changes better, click on the down arrow in the zoom box and choose Whole Page. Now return the view to 100%. To return the margins to their regular settings, select the File menu and choose Page Setup. Let's return the top, bottom, left, and right margins to 1.25 inches. Then click on OK. Now let's close this document without saving any changes. With a blank screen, click on the New button. Let's learn how to set tabs. There are 4 ways to set tab stops: left aligned, centered, right aligned, decimal. Currently, the tab stop command is the button that contains a bold L shape next to the ruler. The current shape is displaying a left aligned tab stop. Click on it and a centered tab stop is shown on screen. Click on it again to select a right aligned tab stop, and then again to select a decimal tab stop. Now return it to the left aligned tab stop by clicking on it. Let's set a tab stop. We point and click on the 1-inch mark, and the left aligned tab is set. To set a center tab, click on the Tab Stop command, which brings up the center tab. Now click on the ruler to set a center tab. To move the tab stop, Select it, then hold down the mouse and drag. Then to remove it, simply drag it off the ruler.
You may pause the tape now to practice on your computer.
Now let's learn how to change line and paragraph spacing.
Line spacing determines the height of each line of text, or in other words, the distance between lines of text. Reopen the Learn 1 file for this demonstration. Word is preset to use single line spacing. With the document on screen, let's change the line spacing. First, press Ctrl+A to select the document. Then select the Format menu and choose Paragraph. Click on the down arrow in the line spacing box and choose Multiple. In the After box in the Spacing section, enter 18 points. Now click on OK or press Enter, and we see the changes in the spacing. Let's change the spacing once more. Again, select the Format menu and choose Paragraph. Now click on the down arrow in the line spacing box and choose Double. Next, enter 12 points in the After box, then click on OK or press Enter, and we notice the changes. Line spacing can also be changed using shortcut keystrokes. With the paragraph selected, let's single space the lines by pressing Ctrl+1. Notice the changes in the document. Now let's press Ctrl+5 to create 1.5 line spacing. And again, notice the changes in the spacing. We also can add or remove 12 points of space before a paragraph by pressing Ctrl+0. Let's remove a paragraph format not applied by a style by pressing Ctrl+Q. At this point, we're finished with the chapter, so let's close this file and not save any changes.
You may pause the tape now to practice on your computer.
Let's review what we covered in this chapter.
We learned how to set up various page orientations and how to set margins.
We learned how to set tabs. Finally, we demonstrated how to change line spacing. Printing documents is easy in Word, and there are many easy ways to perform this task.
For this demonstration, let's make sure the Learn 1 file is on our screen. Before a document is actually printed, it can be previewed. We select the File menu and choose Print Preview, which causes a toolbar to be displayed near the top of the screen. From this point, a magnified area of the document can be viewed. Currently, the magnifier button is activated. We know this because the button is highlighted. Let's move the pointer on the page, and a magnifying glass with a plus sign appears on screen. Click anywhere in the document, and we are given a magnified view of that area. Click the mouse button again, and the view is returned to the print preview. We can also use the Zoom Control command to reduce or enlarge the view of a page. For instance, click on the down arrow in the Zoom Control box and choose 50%, which causes the page to be enlarged on screen. Click on the down arrow in the Zoom Control box and choose 75%, which again enlarges the page. Besides zooming, elements can be hidden on the screen except the displayed pages, Print Preview toolbar, and rulers. Click on the Full Screen button, the third button from the right. This causes most of the elements to be removed from the screen. Click on the Full Screen button again, and the elements are returned. We are ready to print the document. We do this by selecting the File menu and choosing Print or by pressing Ctrl+P. In the dialog box, we're given a list of printing options. In the name box is the type of printer being used. In the page range box is a list of the number of pages that can be printed. In the copies box, we can enter the number of copies we want printed. Here, enter a 2. Now we click on Properties, where we see a list of paper sizes that can be printed. We will keep letters selected. Also keep the layout and current orientation selected. The paper source box determines how paper is inserted into the printer. Click on the down arrow to see other ways to insert paper. Everything is correct, so we click on OK. Now click on OK once more and the document is printed. If we don't need to change any of the printing options, we can quickly print a document by clicking on the Print button, the icon with a printer on it in the toolbar. Let's learn how to cancel printing. Press Ctrl+P for print. It's important to know that background printing must be turned off to stop the printing process. To do this, click on the Options button. In the Printing Options box, make sure that background printing is turned off. Then click on OK. In the Print dialog box, let's also click on OK. A dialog appears telling us the pages are being printed. To stop this process, we can click on Cancel or press Escape. At this point, let's close this document and not save any changes.
You may pause the tape now to practice on your computer.
Let's review what we've covered in this chapter. First, we learned how to preview a document before we print it.
We demonstrated how to use various commands in the Print Preview section. Next, we learned how to select printer options, then how to print.
Finally, we learned how to cancel printing. With Word, we can create headers and footers, which are graphics or text printed at the top or bottom of a page. A common header or footer is a document's title and its page number.
Let's first create a header. Make sure a new document has been created on your screen.
Select the View menu and choose Header and Footer. Adjust the box if necessary. Once the header and footer area appear on screen, there are many options we have to work with. For instance, the font size, which is currently 10, can be changed. Click on the down arrow in the font size box and choose 16. Now to place the information in the header, simply type it. We'll enter Annual Report. From this point, a box can be placed around the header. Select the Format menu and choose Borders and Shadings. Then in the Width box, select the 2 1/4 line for the width. Also, click on the box, which will place a box around the header. Click on OK and a box appears around the header. Now let's create a footer. Click on the switch between header and footer button, the fourth button from the left. The footer typing area appears on screen and is located near the bottom of the page. Once again, change the font size to 16. Then type by James Lee and click on Close. To view the information we just entered, click on the Zoom command and choose Whole Page. This lets us see the header and footer on the page. At this point, go ahead and return the zoom to 100%. The horizontal position of a header or footer also can be adjusted. Currently, the header is aligned to the left. Select the header by double-clicking on it, and then highlighting the words Annual Report. To center it, click on the Center command, which moves the words to the appropriate location. Click on the Right Align command, the seventh icon from the right, and the header is aligned right. Now return it to the left aligned. We also can adjust the vertical position of a header or footer. Click the Page Setup button in the Header and Footer toolbar, which brings up the Page Setup dialog box. Here we click on the Margins tab. In the From Edge box, click on the up arrow in the header box until 1 inch is displayed. This is the distance from the edge of the page to the top of the header. We click on OK, and the header is moved in the document. Let's now change the distance between the body text and the header. Reopen the ruler if necessary. We click on the bottom margin boundary on the vertical ruler and drag down about 1/2 inch. Notice the header area widens on screen. To change the footer area, click on the Switch between Header and Footer button, which moves us to the footer section. Now click on the top margin boundary on the vertical ruler and drag up about 1/2 inch. Page numbers also can be created in the footer. For instance, tab to the right side of the footer. Then click on the Insert Page Numbers button, the button with a number sign on it. This causes a 1 to appear in the footer. Let's press Enter. We can also insert the current time by clicking on the button containing a clock. The current time appears, and we press Enter. Let's insert the current date. Click on the Insert Date command. Information in the footer can be deleted just as easily. Select the text inside the footer. Then press Delete, and the text is removed from the footer. Information on the header also can be deleted. Let's go to the header by clicking on the Switch between Header and Footer button. Now, highlight Annual Report and press Delete. Besides deleting information, headers can be created for odd and even pages. For example, this would be useful if we were printing the title of a book on an odd-numbered pages and the title of the chapters on even-numbered pages. For this demonstration, open the Learn One file. With the document on screen, let's set up the odd and even pages. Select the View menu and choose Header and Footer. In the Header and Footer toolbar, click on the Page Setup command, the buttons with 2 pages. In the Headers and Footers section, click on Different Odd and Even. Then on OK or press Enter. This automatically sets up an odd page header. If a new page was created, an even page header would be included with the file. For now, let's close this document and do not save any changes.
You may pause the tape now to practice on your computer.
Let's review what we've covered in this chapter.
We learned how to create headers and footers.
We demonstrated how to align headers and footers in various ways. We also learned how to display the date, time, and page number on our headers and footers.
We learned how to delete headers and footers. Finally, we learned how to create odd and even page headers.
There are many different views that we can use in Word, including outline, full screen, page layout, and others.
First, let's learn about outline views, which can help us perform some commands much faster than in a typical view. For this exercise, we'll be using the Learn To file.
We first want to change the view in the current document to Outline. So let's select the View menu and choose Outline. This causes a new toolbar to be displayed on screen, along with a different view of the document. The left arrow on the Outline toolbar is the Promote button, which promotes a heading to a higher level. The right arrow demotes a heading to a lower level. The double right arrow demotes a heading to body text. The up arrow moves a heading up. The down arrow moves a heading down. The plus button expands subheadings and body text under a heading. The minus button collapses subheadings and body text under a heading. The numbers expand or collapse an outline to a specified level. The All button expands or collapses the entire outline. The double lines show all body text or just the first line. The double A's show or hide character formatting. With all that said, let's get started on the outline. First, we want to promote a higher heading. In other words, we're going to change the appearance of a heading. Select Chapter 1. Then click on the left arrow in the toolbar. Notice how the appearance of Chapter 1 changes. Also notice that Chapter 1 has the Heading 1 style. Examining the document a little closer, we see a plus sign and some small squares next to the text. The plus sign refers to a heading with a subtext. The small square refers to body text. There are several ways that text can be selected in Outline View. For instance, to select a line of text, click on the small square. To select a heading and its subtext, click on the plus sign. Outlines also can be rearranged using the Collapse command, which hides subtext. By hiding subtext, we can speed up scrolling, promoting and demoting, or moving text. Let's collapse all text. Move the insertion point to the plus sign. Then double-click the mouse button, which causes the subtext to be removed from the screen. To return it, double-click on the plus sign again. Text also can be hidden by clicking on the Collapse button and returned by clicking on the Expand button.
There are still several other ways to move text using the Outline toolbar.
Select Defining the Web in Chapter 1. Then click on the Move Down button, which causes the text to move down in the outline. Click on the Move Up button, and the text returns to its original location. Text also can be moved using the mouse. Headings also can be numbered in an outline. Place the insertion point in front of Chapter 1. Then select the Format menu and choose Bullets and Numbering. A dialog box appears on screen, displaying a list of bullet styles. Click on the second one in the top row. Then press Enter. Notice a bullet now is placed in front of the heading. Full screen view is used to display as much of our document as possible on the screen. In this view, Word removes distracting screen elements such as toolbars and scroll bars. Using the document on screen, select the View menu and choose Full Screen. Notice that all the elements are taken off the screen. To go to the normal view, click on Close Full Screen.
Another useful way to view a document is in Page Layout mode. In this mode, we can see how objects will be positioned on the printed page.
This view is useful for editing headers and footers, for adjusting margins, and for working with columns, drawing objects, and frames. To use this view, simply select the View menu. and choose Page Layout. Notice how the document appears differently on the screen. A new feature to Word is the Online Layout view, which optimizes the layout to make online reading easier.
Text actually appears larger and wraps to fit the window rather than to what it will actually print. For the next example, we'll make sure the Learn 3 file is on the screen.
Online Layout view also restricts column width to display an average of 66 characters per line. Fonts in this view are scaled to be at least 12 points in order to make the documents more readable. To utilize this view, simply select the View menu and choose Online Layout. Notice how the document is much easier to read on screen using the constant width margins that Word has created. To use this correctly, make sure Document Map isn't selected in the View menu. The Document Map in Word allows users to navigate around documents. It actually gives users one-click access to points of interest and serves as a You Are Here roadmap. To use the Document Map, select the View menu and choose Document Map. This causes the screen to split, displaying a hyperlink outline of the document on the left pane, while the right pane contains the document text. Now go ahead and return to normal by selecting this option from the View menu. Let's close all documents without saving any changes.
You may pause the tape now to practice on your computer.
In this chapter, we demonstrated how to work in an outline view, and we also demonstrated how to use full screen view.
We showed how to use the Page Layout and Online Layout views, then showed how to use the Document Map command. The Letter Wizard in Word can help us write a letter quickly and easily. The wizard provides frequently used letter elements such as salutations and closings that we can select.
The wizard also helps us structure our letters based on frequently used letter styles.
If we have the Office Assistant installed, we can start it by typing a salutation that starts with the word Dear, or to, followed by a name and colon or comma. Then click the Get Help with Writing the Letter option in the Office Assistant computer. For our purpose, select the File menu and choose New. Then click on the Letter and Faxes tab. This opens a window showing different types of letters and faxes. Double-click on Letter Wizard, and after a couple of moments, a letter with instructions is displayed on screen. At this point, click on Send One Letter in the Office Assistant. This brings up a Letter Wizard dialog box, where we can enter the letter format, the recipient info along with any other information. With the current date selected, click on Next. Then click in the recipient's name bar. Type James Lee. Now click in the delivery address box and type One American Way, Prior, OK, 74361. Also notice in the bottom of the box is the salutation. Currently it reads, Dear James Lee. This is OK, so click on Next. From the Other Elements tab, we can enter additional information such as the reference line, mailing instructions, and to whose attention we wanted to send the letter to. Go ahead and click on Next, and we're taken to the information about the person sending a letter. Everything looks okay, so click on Finish. First, close the Office Assistant. Then notice the information we entered has been applied to the letter. At this point, close the document and do not save any changes.
Another feature of Word is AutoSummarize, which is used to summarize key points in a document.
For instance, if we want to create a summary for others to read, use AutoSummarize to copy the key points and insert them into an executive summary.
AutoSummarize actually determines the key points by analyzing the document and assigning a score to each sentence. You then choose a percentage of the highest scoring sentence to display in the summary.
For this illustration, we open the Learn 1 file. With the Learn 1 document on screen, select the Tools menu and choose AutoSummarize, which brings up a dialog box listing the types of summaries. Keep Highlight Key Point selected and click on OK. Notice AutoSummarize has determined the key points and assigns a score to them. In our case, the score is a 25%. To see additional key points, click on the right arrow button twice. Then 35% is shown on screen. At this point, go ahead and click on Close. Then close the document and do not save any changes. Other useful features are AutoComplete, AutoCorrect, and AutoFormat. AutoComplete lets you insert items, such as dates, when we type a few identifying letters. AutoCorrect automatically corrects many common typing, spelling, and grammatical errors. AutoFormat automatically formats headings, bullets, and numbered lists, borders, numbers, and symbols in a document. For this illustration, let's first learn about AutoComplete. Select the Insert menu. Choose Auto Text, then select Auto Text once more. This brings up an AutoCorrect dialog box. Here, make sure that Show AutoComplete tip for Auto Text and Dates is selected. Also notice the list of Auto Text entries that are available, such as Attention, Best Regards, and Best Wishes. At this point, press Enter. Now let's see how Auto Text works. Type ATTE and notice the word Attention is displayed in a box. This is the word we want entered in the document, so just press Enter and the word is completed. As mentioned earlier, AutoFormat corrects common typing errors. For instance, let's say we often type too fast and misspell the word the by typing TEH. Press the space bar and the word is automatically corrected. We can also add a word that we have trouble spelling. Select the Insert menu. Choose Auto Text, then Auto Text once more. In the dialog box, click on the AutoCorrect tab. Let's say we often misspell the word computer. We accidentally spell it COMPTER. To fix this, type COMPTER in the Replace box. Then type Computer in the With bar. Then press Enter twice. To see if it works, type COMPTER and press the space bar. Notice the word is automatically corrected. In addition, AutoFormat applies formatted headings or lists. For instance, type 1. Key points, then press Enter, and the number 2 is automatically displayed on screen. Let's close this file without saving any changes.
You may pause the tape now.
In this chapter, we demonstrated how to create a letter using the Letter Wizard and showed how to use the AutoSummarize.
We also showed how to use AutoComplete, AutoCorrect, and AutoFormat. Organizing text into columns is a common Word task. In fact, using columns is especially helpful when creating a newsletter. Text in a newsletter column flows from the bottom of one column to the top of the next.
Columns can be easily applied to text. For this illustration, go ahead and open the Learn For file, then we'll get started.
This file is a story about sales for a company. Currently, the story is in a one-column format, but we want to make it two. To do this, select the first two sentences, then select the Format menu, and choose Columns. A dialog box appears on screen with a list of already preset columns. Click on Two, and a preview of this format is shown on screen. Also, make sure Apply to Selected Text is displayed. Now press Enter, and the first two sentences are converted to a two-column format. Let's make it a three-column format. With the text still selected, choose Columns from the Format menu. Now click on 3. Then click OK, and the changes are again made to the text. Spacing between columns also can be changed using the menu or the ruler. First, let's learn how to use the menu. Select the Format menu and choose Columns. In the dialog box, the spacing is set at 0.5. Change this to 1. Then press Enter, and notice the changes to the spacing of the text. The ruler also can be used to change the spacing. Simply move the pointer to the margin boundary on the horizontal ruler. Then hold down the mouse button and drag. A line also can be placed between columns, which is a common design in most newsletters. Select the Format menu and choose Columns. In the dialog box, click on Line Between. Then press Enter, which places the lines between the columns. Let's now close this document and not save any changes.
Besides creating columns in Word, we can also make tables.
A table is a makeup of rows and columns of cells that we fill with text and graphics. We can also use tables to align numbers in columns and then sort and perform calculations in them. For this demonstration, make sure to open a new blank document. A table is easy to make. Click on the Table menu, then choose Insert Table. This brings up a dialog box listing the number of column and rows for the table, along with the column width. For the number of columns and rows, type 4. Then press Enter. The specified table immediately is created on screen. At this point, we could enter text or numbers into it. Instead, however, we choose to leave it blank.
The format of a table can also be changed, meaning we can change the appearance of it.
Select the Table menu. Then choose Table Auto Format. This opens a dialog box listing the various formats we can use. Choose Colorful One, and a preview of it is displayed on screen. Also, notice the format we're going to apply: borders, shading, font, color, and AutoFit. This format looks okay, so press Enter and the format is applied to the table. There are many other options for working in Word, such as using the Go To command, which can move as quickly to any location in a document. For this demonstration, open the Learn One file. We'll select the Edit menu and choose Go To, or we can press Ctrl+G. In the Go To dialog box is a list of items we can go to. Select Line. Then in the Enter Line Number box, type 5 and click on Go To. which takes us to line 5 of the document. At this point, we'll close the Go To box. There are various ways to find text and format it. We can select the Edit menu and choose Find, or we can press Ctrl plus F. In the Find dialog box, let's type Inquiring and press Enter. When we see that the word Inquiring is found, let's find another word. In the Find What box, we type Products and press Enter. By default, Word searches the entire document. However, we can control how Word searches a document. Click on the More button to see more options. In the search box, we see the word All. This means Word will search the main document, annotations, footnotes, endnotes, headers, and footers. Click on the down arrow to see more search commands. Up or down searches the main document only, up to the beginning or down to the end of the document from the insertion point. Let's work with the up and down commands. First, we close the Find dialog box and place the insertion point at the beginning of the first paragraph. Now press Ctrl plus F to return to the Find dialog box. Click on the down arrow in the search box and choose Down. With products already entered in the Find What bar, press Enter and the word is found. To search up from this point, click on the down arrow in the search box and choose Up. In the Find What bar, type Thanks. Then press Enter and the word is found. Now let's replace some text. Click on the Replace tab, which brings up additional options on screen. In the Find What box, type Products. Then press Enter. This finds the word we want to replace. So now in the Replace With bar, type Materials and click on Replace and on the Close button. Notice this word has been replaced in the document.
You may pause the tape now.
In this chapter, we showed how to create columns of text and place a line between them, then how to create a table and change its format.
We also demonstrated other options such as the Go To, Find, and Replace commands. To create an index, we must first mark the index entries, such as words, phrases, or symbols.
Once we've marked all the index entries, we'll choose an index design and build the finished product.
Word then collects the index entries, sorts them alphabetically, then references their page numbers.
Next, Word finds and removes duplicate entries from the same page and displays the index in the document. For this demonstration, reopen the Learn To file. In the current document, make sure the insertion point is in front of the text. Then press Alt plus Shift plus X, the shortcut keystroke combination for marking an entry. Now in the main entry line, type the web. Then keep Current Page selected and click on the Mark button. Now click the Close button and notice a code in the text. This means the entry has been marked. Once an entry has been marked, there are several index styles to choose from. To view these, move the insertion point to the beginning of the document. Now select the Insert menu and choose the Index and Tables option. A Format dialog box appears on screen, with a list of the styles displayed in the preview box. With the mouse pointer, click on Classic and see its styles in the preview box. Now click on OK to accept this style, and the index is created on screen. The reason it's been indexed starting with the letter T is because the word the starts with a T. A cross-reference also can be created for an index entry, such as See Homes or See Also Homes. To create an index cross-reference, highlight Defining the Web, then press Alt plus Shift plus X for Mark Entry. Now in the option box, click on the cross-reference option. In the option box, the word See is displayed in italics, indicating that it is automatically entered in the cross-reference text box. Now type page 5 after the word See. Then click on the Mark button and on the Close button. Notice cross-reference code now has been placed in the text.
A table of contents is also easy to make, but to create one we must first apply the built-in heading styles to the headings we want to include in it.
If we prefer, we can instead apply styles that include outline level formats or apply our own custom heading styles. In order to create a table of contents, a heading style needs to be made. Highlight Chapter 1, What is the Web, and click the down arrow button in the Style box, located on the top of the screen, the first box on the left, and choose Heading 1. Now to choose a table of contents style, move the insertion point in front of Chapter 1, What is the Web? Select the Insert menu, then choose Index and Tables. Now click on the Table of Contents tab. Its information appears on screen. In the dialog box is a list of the different formats and a preview. Select the Classic option and click on the OK button. A table of contents is now displayed on screen. At this point, close all open files without saving changes.
Within a document, we can insert comments which can give additional information about key words or phrases in a document.
To create a comment, we will first open the Learn One file. Select the word Inquiring, then select the Insert menu, and choose Comment. Notice that a comment mark has been inserted after the word Inquiring. Also, the comment pane is open. Here we can add additional information about a word or phrase in a document. Type Interactive CD-ROM Tutorials, and then click on the Close button. With Inquiring still highlighted, click on it to see the comment. Notice the comment that was created now is displayed in the comment pane. Deleting a comment is just as easy as creating one. To delete a comment, first highlight Inquiring. Right-click the mouse. From the shortcut menu, choose Delete Comment, and the comment is deleted.
Revision marks serve many purposes. Basically, they're used to display when, where, and by whom changes were made in a document.
And Word Program can display these revision marks in several different ways, such as striking through or underlining the text. To make revisions, select the Tools menu. Then choose Track Changes and Highlight Changes. In the Highlight Changes box, click on Track Changes while editing. Then click on the OK button. Now the changes will appear in the document as the text is typed. In addition, notice that the letters TRK are bolded in the status bar near the bottom of the screen. This indicates that the tracking marking is currently turned on. Now place the insertion point after the first occurrence of the word Products and type CD-ROMs. Now move the insertion point back to the end of the first Products, then the backspace key until the word has a line through it. Once revisions have been created, select the Tools menu. Choose Track Changes, then Accept or Reject Changes, A dialog box pops up on screen with quite a few different options. Notice the Changes section shows who made changes to the document and when they were made. At this point, to accept this revision, click on the Accept option. Notice that the word Products is deleted, and the new word CD-ROMs is accepted as the revision. Go ahead and click on Close. Close out the document also.
Word provided several ways to restrict access to a document. For instance, we can assign a password to open the document, which prevents unauthorized users from opening it.
We also can assign a password to modify the document, which allows others to open the document but to not save changes without the password.
If someone opens the document without the password to modify and change the document, that person can save the document only by giving it a different file name. Go ahead and open the Learn 1 file.
If you assign password protection to a document and then forget the password, you can't open the document, remove protection from it, or recover data from it. It's a good idea to keep a list of your passwords and their corresponding document names in a safe place. Let's learn how to require a password to modify a document. With the Learn 1 file on screen, choose Save As from the File menu. In the Save As dialog box, click Options. Then in the Password to Modify box, type a password. Then click on OK. In the Re-enter Password to Modify box, type the password once more. Then click on OK. Also change the Save As type box to Word 95. At this point, the document on the C drive can't be opened without the password. A document also can be opened as read-only. With the Save As box on screen, click Options. Then select the Read-Only Recommended checkbox, and then click OK. At this point, click Save.
In this chapter, we demonstrated how to create an index and index cross-reference. We also showed how to create a table of contents.
We showed how to insert and view comments and how to track changes made to a document.
Finally, we showed how to protect a document from changes using a password. We can add different types of backgrounds, such as a woven texture, to a Word document to make it look more interesting.
To add a background color to the current document, select the Format menu and choose Background, which gives us a list of colors. Go ahead and choose Light Yellow, which displays this color as the background on the screen. We can also add special effects. Select the Format menu. Choose Background, then choose Fill Effects. This brings up a dialog box with Gradient, Texture, Pattern, and Picture tabs. Select Texture, and a list of textures are shown on screen. Click on the last one in the top row. Then click on OK. After a couple of moments, this texture is applied to the screen. Now let's apply a gradient to it. Select the Format menu, choose Background, then Fill Effects. Then click on the Gradient tab. In the Colors section, click on one color. This means the gradient will only be one color. The Shading Styles area will let us determine the variance or the flow of the shading. Click on Diagonal Up, and we are given a preview of this variant. Everything looks good, so we click on OK, and the gradient is applied to the background of the document. Patterns can also be used as a background. Select the Format menu. Choose Background, then Fill Effects. In the dialog box, click on the Pattern tab, which brings up a list of patterns. Choose one of the patterns, then click on OK. A background can be removed just as easily as it was created. Select the Format menu, then choose Background. Now click No Fill and the background is returned to white. In a Word document, we can also add a border to any or all sides of a table, a paragraph, or selected text in a document. In Word documents, all tables by default have a half point, black solid line borders that prints. To surround a paragraph with a border, select the first paragraph in the document on screen. Now select the Format menu and choose Borders and Shading. This brings up a box with a list of borders that can be applied to the text. The settings include None, Box, Shadow, 3D, and Custom. Click on Box, and we are given a preview of this setting in the preview box. At this point, the setting can be applied to a paragraph or text. Make sure Paragraph is selected in the Apply To bar. Then click on OK. Notice a border automatically is placed around the selected paragraph. We can also specify that only particular sides get borders. To do this, select the Format menu and choose Borders and Shadings. Then click Custom under Setting. Now under Preview, we can click the diagram sides or use the buttons to apply and remove borders. For instance, to remove the left vertical border, make sure Paragraph is still selected in the Apply To bar. Then simply click on it in the Preview box. In addition, we can specify the exact position of the border relative to the text. To do this, click Options, which brings up a box that will let us change the distance from the text. For example, enter a 2 in the top bar. Then click on OK. Now click on OK once more to apply the changes to the paragraph.
Word also makes it easy to add a border to a page.
Select the Format menu. Then choose Borders and Shading. In the dialog box, click on the Page Border tab. At this point, we can choose various page border settings and styles. Click on Shadow. Then choose a style from the list. To change the color of the border, click the Color bar and choose Blue. We want to apply this to the whole document, so click on OK. We can also add shading to selected text or to an entire paragraph. With the first paragraph selected, click the Format menu and choose Borders and Shading. Now click the Shading tab, which brings up different fill colors. Choose Yellow. Then click on the Pattern Style box, which brings up a list of style pattern percentages. Notice the lower the percentage, the lighter the style. Select 15%, and again make sure Paragraph is selected. Then click on OK, which applies the style to the selected text. Besides shading, we can add a box border around selected text. Select the date in the document. Then select the Format menu and choose Borders and Shading. At this point, click the Borders tab. Then choose Box. We want to change the style or color of the border. But notice the preview box. Only the selected word has a border around it. This is what we want, so we click on OK. To see a preview of what we have done, select the File menu and choose Print Preview. Now click the Close button.
We can remove borders from any or all sides of a page, a paragraph, or selected text in a document.
To remove a border from a page in a document, select the Format menu. Then choose Borders and Shadings, and then click the Page Border tab. Now under Setting, click None, which displays in the preview box that the page border has been removed. At this point, click on OK. To remove a border from the selected text, be sure the text is selected. Then choose Borders and Shadings from the Format menu. With the Border tab selected, under Settings, click None. Then click on OK, which removes the border from the selected text. At this point, close the document without saving any changes. When we manually number items in a list, Word converts the typed numbers to automatic numbering.
For this demonstration, start from a blank document.
To create a bulleted list automatically, simply type 1, followed by text such as Practice. Now press Enter to add the next list item. Notice that Word automatically inserts the next number, which is a 2. Here, type Example. Now to finish the list, press Enter twice. We also can finish the list by pressing the backspace key to delete the last number in the list. In addition, we can change the number format. To do this, select the items. Then select the Format menu and choose Bullets and Numbering. Now make sure that the Numbered tab is selected. Then select the proper format and click on OK. Notice this automatically changes the format of the numbered list. The spacing of the numbered list also can be adjusted. Select the Format menu, then choose Bullets and Numbering. At this point, click Customize, which brings up a box with a list of options. To change the text position, which is currently 0.5, enter a 1. Then click on OK, and the changes are applied to the text. To remove the numbering, make sure that the text is selected. Then click Numbering in the toolbar, the 7th button from the right. Let's close the document without saving any changes.
In this chapter, we demonstrated how to create backgrounds. We learned how to create and fill effects such as gradients, shading styles, and patterns.
We also learned how to create page borders and create borders around text. Finally, we learned about numbering. To delete the learning files from the hard drive, first close Word and return to the Windows 95 desktop. Then right-click the Start button and open the Explorer. Next, highlight the VIA Graphics Learning folder. Then press and hold the Shift key as we drag the folder to the recycle bin. Next, release the mouse, then the Shift key, and the files are deleted. Finally, we'll close the Explorer and we'll return to the Windows 95 desktop. That concludes this tutorial learning Word 97 Intermediate.
We've covered a lot of information in this tutorial. If you feel you need to review, simply rewind the tape and watch that section again until you're comfortable with the material.
Please feel free to contact us about our video tutorials. Our worldwide website address is http://www.viagraphics.com. Send your questions or comments on this video tutorial via email to admin@viagraphics.com. For more information about ViaGraphics training products, email info@viagraphics.com. Subject Information. For sales questions or to place an order, email sales@viagraphics.com. We at VIA Graphics would like to thank you for choosing our company for your computer training needs.
And remember, if you plan to learn Word or any other computer software, there's no better way than through video training with VIA Graphics.